Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's European SharePoint Office 365 and Azure Community webinar. My name is Laura, and I'm delighted to be joined by Karoliina and Amanda, who will present the topic 7 Ways Microsoft Teams Can Improve Your Employee Experience. Remember to join in on the conversation about today's webinar and more on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @EuropeanSP, and our hashtag is #ESPC23. Don't forget to check out the Resource Centre. This is updated daily with the latest blogs, ebooks, webinars, and how-to videos. Simply visit sharepointeurope.com and click the Content tab at the top. Continue your learning by joining us for our next webinar with Tom Morgan, who will present the topic, Using Azure Communication Services with Microsoft Teams, What Can You Do? This webinar takes place tomorrow, Friday, the 24th of March from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. CET. For more details, you can check out our website at sharepointeurope.com/your guide to Microsoft Teams. The ESPC 23 Super Early Bird Sale is now on. Save €400 with super early bird pricing and join us in Amsterdam this year from the 27th to the 30th of November for 4 days of learning, networking and inspiration. ESPC 23 will bring together members of the Microsoft 365 and Azure community from around the world to share ideas and solutions. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals at ESPC this November. Secure your super early bird tickets today and get ready for 4 incredible days of Microsoft 365 and Azure learning. You can visit sharepointeurope.com/pricing to snatch up this limited offer. The European Power Platform Conference Programme is also available. This June, prepare yourself to deep dive into all things like Power Pages, Dataverse, PowerFX, Canvas apps, and so much more, with a lineup of exceptional speakers and topics curated by an independent program team. We truly believe that this program will provide you with the expertise to power ahead in your career and your projects. So you can visit sharepointeurope.com/conference schedule 2023 EPPC. The link is down there at the bottom of the screen to find out more about the conference schedule. Now, after the webinar, we will have a questions and answers session. Type any questions that you might have into the questions window. The questions will then be selected and answered at the end of the presentation. And this webinar will also be recorded and added to the Resource Centre, where you will be notified by email when it is available. And now I'm going to pass you over to our webinar presenters today, Karoliina and Amanda. And up first, we have Karoliina. Hello, Karoliina.
Hello, thank you, Laura, and welcome to all attendees here today. Let me share my screen. So, welcome to ESPC Teams Week. I hope you'd already attended some interesting webinars and learned something from the Resource Center. I think, Amanda, you also have a blog post in the Resource Center.
Yes, I do. I've been a part of Teams Week, I think, like 2 or 3 times. I think it's a really nice forum to learn more about, well, everything Microsoft almost.
Yes, because basically you can integrate pretty much everything in M365 in Teams. But today we have a pretty interesting topic.
Yes, so we will share with you 7 ways how Microsoft Teams can improve your employee experience. And it's such a thrill to be here, and it's such a thrill to be here together with you, Karoliina.
Yes, we were actually having this session with Amanda live at the ESPC in Copenhagen in December, but glad to see so many attendees here online as well.
Yes.
So I'm Karoliina Kettukari. I work at Snowflake, and basically I do everything around modern work, Teams, Viva, all the cool, interesting stuff. And you can find me from Twitter, from LinkedIn, and please feel free to connect me in there.
Yes, and my name is Amanda Stanner, and I work at Knowledge Factory, which is a part of Advania. And well, same as Karoliina, I say that I do everything, everything Microsoft 365. I like try everything once, and I think it's such an amazing platform to do your daily job. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and sometimes I blog. And both me and Karoliina are Microsoft MVPs. That means that we enjoy talking about this and sharing knowledge, and think it's super fun to be able to be here and engage with you.
Yeah, and I think also it's pretty nice to see that I'm from Finland. Amanda is in Stockholm in Sweden, and our session theme today is about, of course, employee experience, but also about best practices for hybrid work. So this is also an interesting situation where we are working really hybrid ways.
Yes.
Cool. So today we have Paula, and all the pictures in this presentation I made with DALL-E, with AI, which is super fun, super interesting thing. It could be whole another session by itself, but if you see any weird things in the images, it's because of the AI. But let's say hello to Paula. Amanda, do you want to tell us something about Paula?
Well, Paula is working at a pretty large European company. They have sites, well, all across the world. So there are people working in different time zones. They are having different work cultures, and she just wants everybody to have a nice day and make this work with the help of the tools that she has.
Yeah, and Paula, because her team is working all around Europe, she's also struggling a bit with hybrid work. And she's now planning to create a hybrid work playbook for her team and wants to get all of the teams and wants to ensure that her team is also supported in well-being while they're working all around the world. So today we wanted to share some different themes and aspects of hybrid work, employee experience in teams in general, and we chose some very concrete, nice, simple steps and tips and tricks you can start utilizing right away after this webinar. I think I won't spoil any more what's about to come because you'll see it soon. So shall we move on to our first step of today?
Yes.
Yes. Cool. So, of course, starting today is super important, and starting today in our today's hybrid or remote work is, I think, even maybe more important than ever before, because usually in the old times we had the pretty typical starting of today when we woke up, get ready, and went to the office to start working. But nowadays you can go to the office, you can work from home, you can work from your cottage, you can work from pretty much anywhere. So let's see how Paula handles her, how Paula has started her workday. So welcome to our demo team. And here Paula is thinking that it's nearly April. So basically it's summer vacation season soon. And Paula has his Copenhagen office team with his back office channel. And she wants to send a message to her co-workers to mark their holidays. So she could start a new conversation. Let's put it in here and maybe also add a subject topic to the conversation. And she will remind all of her team members to mark their own holidays. And they maybe have a holiday calendar list, or they could use Excel, they could have some holiday system, but she asks, please go and mark your holidays. And of course, Paula has to mark her own holidays as well. So she would like to create a task from this Teams message. And basically, if you go to a Teams message and click on the three dots, you are able to create a task. But in here, private channel, I see it doesn't work. So let's go to another channel for this demo. Yes, I love these demo effects. Yeah, so basically, if I click on the three dots on a message, go to more actions and create a task, it will open up a window of my own to-do task list. And now this task is already titled by the name of the post, but of course I was meant to do a task about holidays, so I will copy paste the real title in here. I could choose a real place for my task, and maybe it's an important thing to do because of course I want to secure the best place to be on holiday. And I will add this thing as a task in my to-do. And then Paula started to think that Patty, her colleague, has maybe haven't checked the holiday calendar. There has been some issues with it before. So Paula goes to the chat and sends a message to Patty. Oh, here she is. And basically, if you remember, there is no such thing as hello in Teams because it's always the best practice to write the whole message. You can say hello, you can say good morning, but then just write the whole thing, the whole question in your message right away. I can send a message, but oh, I noticed that there has been a typo in my message. And if you see it, it was pretty quick. If I click arrow up with my keyboard, I will take the message, my latest message, into a editing mode. So this is just a super simple quick tip of how you can edit your messages, because as we all know, all the errors we notice until after we have sent our messages. So arrow up when you have written a message and you can get it to a edit mode. Awesome. Now the last thing Paula wants to do today is to reserve some time for focusing. Paula has many things to do today and she has to have time to focus. So Paula goes to Viva Insights, which is basically a place which gathers around lots of information, tips and tricks about well-being in teams. And did you actually know that during these past couple of years, the amount of meetings have risen over 250% compared to a couple of years ago? And this is a huge number. We have so much more meetings than before, and meetings are also longer. So basically, the average meeting time has gone up from 35 minutes to 45 minutes per meeting, which is quite a huge thing. So Paula wants to protect her time, and she will go to Viva Insights to protect time, and she could book focus time, which means that the calendar automatically suggests places where Paula has free time in her calendar. And with a single click, I could book focus time. And when my focus time is booked, Paula will not get any extra notifications, and she can really focus on doing materials, doing something important, focusing on the task at hand. Amazing. Cool. So Paula is now ready to start her day. Next thing she wants to do is to catch up with everyone. Amanda, do you want to demo this one?
Yes, please. Okay, I'm gonna. Perfect. Now I hope that all you can see my screen.
Yes.
So, well, what's up with everybody? Keeping up with your community. A very crucial part of the hybrid work is to have a community, because, I mean, if we're all alone, we're not in the same office. It's really hard to feel that we are connected. It's hard to feel that we are part of the company. And of course, the place to stay connected in Microsoft 365 is Viva Engage. Well, finally, Yammer is gone forever. Now we have Viva Engage, and I really hope and truly believe that now this will be the new next it thing. Okay, so Viva Engage. Let's open it inside Microsoft Teams. One thing that I think both me and Karina loves about Teams is that it is the hub for teamwork, the one-stop shop. You've heard it before, you will hear it again, but we can go in on Teams and we can find, well, basically everything we need for our work. With apps that we can, well, find, we don't have to go into the specific places, we just go into Teams. And of course, we can go into Engage inside Teams. So here in my left navbar, I have opened Viva Engage, and this opens, well, the full experience. And here you open the home page. Now you can see here, Paula, she doesn't have like a very vibrant life here, but when her people start to wake up, more things will happen. And today, Paula, she has two different goals here in Viva Engage. First of all, is to inform the leaders at your company about a new fun feature that is coming. And she also wants to start a new hybrid work community to have one place for all of us hybrid workers to gather. Did you know that 54% of managers say that the leadership is out of touch with their employees? And I mean, that is a pretty large number. And the perfect place to be more engaged and stay up to date is, of course, in Viva Engage. So let's open our communities. And someone once told me that you can think of, like, if you're comparing a team in Microsoft Teams and a community Viva Engage, is that a team is like asking in your neighborhood. You're asking a question in your neighborhood, but asking a community, that's like asking in space. So in Viva Engage, you can reach everybody in your company. You don't have to know them. It's just a much more broader open area than a team, even though I love a team, you know. So here are Paula's communities, and we're open up leadership. Because Paula, she wants to inform about this new thing that's coming soon, Leadership Corner. And actually, I can see that Patty already written a message about it. So let's open it up here to get a nice inspirational picture. So what is Leadership Corner? As you can see here in the little picture, we will have a new tab in Viva Engage for leaders where employees easily can see the leaders of their community. They can see everybody, they can open a leader and see, oh, what different kinds of communities is they following. They will also be able to see the leaders stories, yay stories, and the different posts that they're doing. Another thing that will be available here is AMA, so Ask Me Anything events. So it will be easy for leadership to host event where the employees can answer and ask any kinds of questions. So it's really important for leaders to be there and to be authentic so that we feel that we can connect, which is very important in this hybrid world. Okay, so let's close down here. So it's really good here that Patty sent a message to this to our leaders so they know that soon we're going to prepare and make really good content for all of our employees. And something else that we can see here in this leadership community is that there are different kinds of posts in Viva Engage. We have discussions, we have question, praise, poll. It's just a really nice place where you can go in and express yourself in different kinds of ways. And I wanted to show you storylines here. This is also pretty empty, but when we follow different people, so me, for example, I'm really interested in what's happening with my employees and some of my peers at work, I can follow their storylines and I will see all of their gathered information in one feed. And now I realize that here in Viva Engage, the only thing that I miss is that I cannot seem to see the stories here. I can only see them in the app. Karoliina, correct me if I'm incorrect, but you know, stories that we have in LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, there are stories everywhere, and of course we have to have them in our work life as well. I think stories are really fun. I think it's a nice way to express yourself and to connect with my peers. Okay, so if we go back to communities, I just thought that Paula wanted to create a new community where we can talk about this new hybrid work. So we're gonna click create and let's name it something nice like hybrid work community. Oh, okay, let's rock. And it's going to be public and create, and that's just how easy it is to create a new community where we can update our cover photo, we can have info, we can pin different kinds of information that's relevant, create a new live event, just to have one place for everybody at a company that enjoys working hybrid. So that's all for Paula's second demo of the day. Back to you, Karoliina.
Thank you, Amanda. And I really like how Microsoft actually creates the background for those communities. So basically, you don't even have to take a picture for your community, but there is already some nice, pretty background images there right away.
Yeah.
So let's continue to our third tips and then topic of today, which is better meetings. And previously I said that we have 250% more meetings than before, and our meetings are longer. So basically, of course, we want to have better meetings. We want to have more efficient meetings, and we want to be sure that all the action points and ideas we get from our meetings are put into real life action after the meeting as well. So let's go and check a couple of things, tips and tricks Paula has done for her team to create better meetings. So first of all, one of my actually favorite things in Teams, I have like 100 favorite teams, but one of those is channel meetings. So you could create a meeting in Outlook, you can create a meeting in Teams, but you can also create a meeting in channel. So basically, when you are in a channel, you could schedule a meeting. And the beauty of it is that when you schedule a meeting inside your channel, it stays in the context. So basically, all the discussions you have during your meeting, all the files you share, all the agendas stay in your team. And even if you can't attend the meeting, you can easily switch read those agendas or read the comments after the meeting. And if you want to record the meeting, of course, the meeting recordings, etc., are always stored directly in the team. So let's, before we go into our meeting, I see we have some eager person there waiting for us already. Let's just check first our team weekly meeting agenda, because there are many ways you can create a meeting agenda. Usually we could use OneNote, in the future maybe Loop. I think Amanda has some Loop demo for us as well. But one thing or one really nice tip for you to use is actually have a planner for your weekly meeting. And this might be familiar to you if you have done, for example, agile projects, sprint planning, etc. But if you have some team, some project which, for example, has weekly meetings, a planner is a pretty nice way to have your agenda, because you can make deadlines. You can say that, hey, now Patty or Christy is responsible for this task. You can include links, you can include documents, you can do lists for your meeting. So basically, this is a very versatile, very visual way of having a meeting memo. So really, really suggesting you could try this one with your team. But let's get into our meeting. Let's not files, but into our meeting. And let's join in here. And now I can't sadly have my camera on or microphone on because I'm using these in this webinar. But now, when I connect to my meeting, here is someone already waiting, and let's let her in. Cool, Amanda Stinner, welcome to our meeting. And here we actually, there was this small, nice Q&A window, which I'm going to demo for you as well. But wait a minute, Amanda, you have all those cool layers in your meeting. Wow.
Yeah.
So basically, layers and avatars came to public preview just a couple of weeks ago, I think, like pretty recently. So now you can see all of these nice different layers, backgrounds, filters. I actually have used this filter where it's like a cat, like orange cat on the top of my head. That's super nice, cool, comfortable thing to have. Of course, these are not for everyone, and I think layers is a premium feature in the future. Some of these might be included in the Teams premium licenses in the future. But nice things to make meetings maybe more visual, maybe more human-like. And of course, if you have some avatars in your meetings, or yeah, Snapchat filters in your meetings, that could be a very nice way to add that human interaction, that like human ways, and increase your employee experience, for example, in some informal team weekly meeting. Cool. But last thing I want to show to you about meetings is Q&A. And this didn't work for me. Oh yes, now it works. Best. Cool. So basically, Q&A is an excellent choice if you have a larger meeting, or if you want to discuss a topic maybe even before your meeting starts. So for example, I could start a discussion. How about holidays? And attendees of the meeting can answer the question even before the meeting. They can add answers during the meeting, and then I can easily see what has been asked and answered during the meeting. So if you are thinking about what's the difference between meeting chat and Q&A, is that the meeting chat is quite chat-like. It's basically loads of messages going on all the time. But with Q&A, you can have a bit more structure into your meeting, and you can see more easily what are the questions that are being asked and what are the answers to certain questions. So Q&A, really, really nice tip for next meetings as well. Awesome. Hey, well, I think we are ready to move on to our next topic. And this is actually super interesting because in studies in Microsoft Work Trend Index, only 30% of team managers, so only one out of third team managers say that their teams are being innovative in these hybrid times. So Amanda, do you have any solutions of how to keep your team innovating?
Well, I surely hope I do, because not being in office, that's a lame excuse for not innovating. So let me see if I can share my screen very soon.
Yes.
Okay, great. And these are fresh from the oven demos. This is so bear with me. But okay, team innovation. Well, innovation. What would the world be without us innovating in different forms? And of course, we have so many great tools in Microsoft 365 to help us with innovation, and I'm going to show you a few of them. So Paula, she is planning a workshop. Karoliina, she mentioned that Paula, she wants to create a hybrid playbook to really have the best possible, way for us to do this hybrid work. And sometimes that's something that we don't want is too much meetings. Meetings. It's not that fun, but if we do a lot of preparations before the meeting, well, then our meetings can be short, effective, and a lot more fun. I'm opened here, calendar, and we're gonna go into this hybrid playbook workshop. And a word that you probably heard this year is asynchronous work. And I think that asynchronous work, that is the key to a successful hybrid work life. And that is, well, we don't have to work at the same time every time. So let's have a look at a few ways to be a little bit better with asynchronous work. So open the meeting. I'm going to open the chat here because, as you know, when we have created a meeting, and sorry, this is not a channel meeting, but sometimes we need to have meetings that's not in a channel. And here I have created a loop. So you might heard of this new lovely product from Microsoft called Loop, and it's been well, quite some time we have been playing around with Loop components in Teams. But now the last couple of weeks, fun things are starting to happen. So let's just create a new loop that we want to have in our meetings. So maybe we want task lists. Let it load. Tasks to complete. And workbook. Did we call it playbook? I'm like workbook. Playbook. And the sweet thing about Loop is that you don't decide where your people want to work, because that is also something that I think is very key of the hybrid lifestyle, is that everybody doesn't want to work during the same hours. Everybody doesn't want to work in the same kind of ways. And some people may want to Teams. Some people might want to be in the Loop app. Some people even might want to be in Outlook. That's not me. So we have created our Loop component here, and I'm just going to copy it and open Microsoft Whiteboard. And here I'm going to paste it, and we have soon, well, when it loaded. And here we have very soon the same Loop component. We have the same exact info that I have in the meeting chat. Now I have it in the whiteboard. We can collaborate. Now it's just Paula collaborating with Paula, but imagine she could have all of her teammates here and people could be here different times. And also the really nice thing about Loop is I'm gonna jump away from whiteboard, and then I'll come back here, is that as of yesterday, we finally got but now I think I closed my Loop window. Oh my God, I closed the Loop app, but we have a Loop app now, both on mobile. I downloaded the testing preview and it looks really promising. And we also have the Loop app in the web. So finally we have new fun on the crack kind of OneNote. So it's going to be very thrilling to try those things out. So sorry you didn't get to see the Loop app, but I promise you it's there and it looks really promising. But let's get back to whiteboard, because we have been preparing. People have been watching this whiteboard before. If I go back here to our hybrid playbook workshop, open the meeting whiteboard, you will see that it is the same whiteboard that I configured here, because now you can decide what whiteboard you want to configure to the meeting before. So it's really easy to be there before. You're fixing everything. Here you have the sexy loop component again. Wow, I love it, with the purple bluish bar around it. But new things here that I think are pretty nice for when we're actually in the meeting is this new timer. So it's easy to set a timer for how long we're going to be in whiteboard. And also there's this new feature where I can say, follow my mouse or follow where I am. So if we have like a huge whiteboard, I can let everybody just follow along me and what I'm doing in the whiteboard. So it's really just a simple and nice tool for team collaboration and also collaboration across time zones and whatnot. And Loop, I'm just gonna say it, it's gonna be huge. So I have to go in and see if you have it to try it as a preview today. So Karoliina, that's it for Loop for now. Over to you.
Awesome, thank you, Amanda. And yes, this is like super new because Loop was announced yesterday. So the Loop application is available right now, and also the Loop integration to Whiteboard is quite a new thing. So amazing things. I think it's funny because like last week it was all about ChatGPT and Copilot and everything. This week it's all about Loop application and Loop. So let's see what happens next week.
Yeah, new things all the time, but that's the fun part about working with this.
Yes. But hey, next up, Paula wants to create some lists. And of course, lists you can also utilize with your mobile phone with the list application on the go. But lists might be familiar to some of you from SharePoint, because in SharePoint, like back in the days with SharePoint on premises, we had lists in SharePoint. And some time ago, the lists got this like a renewal, and now we have lists in M365. And I think list is a pretty much overrated application in Teams and in M365, because basically everything could be a list. Of course, you can use OneNote, you can use Excel, you can use Loop or Whiteboard, but many things that you currently do with Planner or many things you do with Excel could actually be a list. And the beauty with lists is that you can integrate lists with other systems. You can do automations with lists. You can do approvals. A lot of those simple, nice, easy automations and that you can, for example, do with Excel. So let's go take a look of how Paula wants to present some simple lists to her colleagues. So we are in a team, and with the plus sign, you can add a list to your team. And here, the super fun thing is that when you go and create a list, you actually have loads of templates. And these are super nice, super visual, and super easy to use templates. So for example, you might have some incident log. You might want to track your expenses. You might want to have some kind of ticketing system, issue tracker, and you have all of these different ready-made templates from Microsoft. If I click on some example, you can see all the rows and all the sections the list has. And of course, when you choose to use this list, it's empty, but all the sections are there, all the visuals are there. If I want to, I can also, let's go back. I can also create a ready-made templates for my organization. So for example, if my organization uses this event itinerary, but for example, we have done some modifications to the sections, we could create our own template of this list and share it to all of our people in our organizations. I can also start with blank, of course. I could utilize an existing list. I could bring a list in from Excel. So if you have an Excel sheet, you can test how it looks like as a list. One example we have in here is travel requests. And the nice thing in here, I noticed actually, is that you can have a simple list just with travel requests. But in addition, you can also have travel requests with approvals. And Amanda will show you approvals a little bit later, but you can automatically have this simple approval process integrated into your list. And that's like amazing. Before I would have to start with scratch, start with nothing, but nowadays I could just with one click create a list with all of these different functionalities and the simple approval flow, which is super simple. So this is how the list will look like if I just like utilize the ready-made list. But if I want to, I could show you how it looks like when I start using it. So I can use an existing list, and I can choose an existing list from this team or from some other teams. And as it happens, in my remote living team, I have another list called travel requests. And I want to use this list in here. Yes, travel requests. I want to use airplane, and maybe it's lilac purple because it's Teams. Teams is purple. And it creates the lists, brings the list from my other team into this Mark 8 project team. And basically I have all the sections in here. Now I can start utilizing this list. I can show you how the list looks like in my other team because I have some super nice content in here. It's travel requests for conferences, and yay, we are going to Paris just a couple of days. And you can also see that the approval status is here, and all the airlines and all the airfares are actually here. And it took me like 30 seconds to start utilizing this list and start using it. But this is not all, because list is actually a super interesting thing, and you can do so much with lists. And I have a couple of links and resources in here. You can go and take a look. So, for example, Tetsuya in Twitter, they have amazing examples you can do with lists. So all of the pictures you see in here, they are lists. You wouldn't believe that some of these are actually lists. So this is actually something you could check out. I will add the link to the chat a bit later on. And another link I would suggest reading is Paulo Ferreira's Hands on Lists blog, which also has maybe a bit more advanced blog posts about how to use lists. And I really encourage you to get familiarize yourself with this, because lists can be so much. You can do so much with them, and instead of using a planner or instead of using Excel, for example. But okay, I think we are ready to deep dive into approvals with Amanda.
Yes. Okay, so let's see if I can get the little button. Perfect. Okay, so I talked to you, well, previously about one of the loveliest things with Microsoft Teams is staying in context. And Did you know that it takes on average 23 minutes to regain focus after you context switched or somebody interrupts you? Well, of course, it's so lovely that we have everything that we want in Microsoft Teams. And as Karoliina talked about a little bit about approvals is, well, approvals is the app in M365 and Microsoft Teams to create simple approvals for your employees. And there are so many different exciting things you can do with the help of Power Platform. But without, hey, we just want to keep it simple and show you what you can do with a few easy clicks. But you know, the sky is the limit for building automated sexy stuff with Power Automate and use the Power App cards and Power Virtual Agents. But here we have nice, sweet approvals. So if you don't see the approvals app in the left side navigation, you will just have to search for it or ask your IT admin. But I open it here, and as you can see, it is pretty empty. But let's try to make some things happen here. And the first thing I want to show you is that we both have built-in approvals, and then we also have the possibility to work with Adobe Sign and DocuSign to get actual signs on approvals. But so it could be a little bit more advanced, and it could be super duper simple. So first thing here that I want to show you is under create or manage templates. So let's click that. And under template management, we have two different options, or three, which one is no options at all. But if I'm a team owner, I can create approval templates for my team. So here we can see that Paula is owner of product Y. That means that she can create an approval template for that specific team. If you are admin a little bit higher up in the ladder, you can also create org-wide approvals, which makes it really simple to create, for example, approvals for a business trip, as Karoliina talked about, or maybe needing to, I don't know, have a budget for a big party. So we can have different kinds of templates. And let's first have a look at a few of these templates before I wanted to show you quickly how to create one. So when Paula wants to ask for a new approval, she just clicks new approval, and we can see basic requests. And the basic one, that is actually just it's completely empty. You can create an approval of, well, whatever you want, and just set into whoever you want in your organization. And then we have the e-signs that I briefly told you about, and we have the org-wide ones here. So in Paula's organizations, we have approval for a business trip, convenient with Karoliina just showing that, and also a work from home one. Well, we don't like to have a work from home approval since we want to do hybrid, but hey, we're just trying to get everybody on board in our organization. And also here we can see that for product Y, we have our absence leave. So if I just open a business trip here to show you from this side, we can see that there are a bunch of different fields. Where do I want to go? Who should be approver? We can decide here if we should have specific approvers for specific templates, the reason, start date. As you can see, there are many different fields, which makes it really easy for us to gather the information we need to be able to approve a request. And also, really nice feature is the one that you can that you have to have a response from all recipients before it gets approved. But let's just briefly create a new template for our product Y here. And just as with lists, there are so many different pre-made templates. So Microsoft just makes it really easy for us to quickly get started with whatever we want to do. So for this one, I want to create a purchase order, and you can see here that they showing us how it will look in the preview for our users. There's a bunch of different fields, and I'm going to do it for project Y. And here we will go in and just be able to design our approval. So we can go in and, well, adjust it to the specific needs that we have and really make it work for our organization. So that's really nice. And for example, I would love to use this for ordering new gear. Maybe I want to have a specific approval for all of my employees to easily order a stream brick. I'm going to create it. Maybe I want all of my employees to easily order a HoloLens for doing mesh stuff. You know, so it's really simple to use approvals, and then we can approve things. And yeah, and like I said, this is just a simple way, and then we have so many different fun, engaging opportunities with the help of Power Platform, but that will be another session. So that was a short overview of approvals. Back to you, Karoliina.
Awesome. And what I'm really amazed about is that most of these things we have shown to you today have came to teams like just a couple of weeks ago or half a year ago. So the amount of new items, new things, new features in M365 is amazing. And
yeah.
Also, the title of our session is how to support employee experience. And one really important aspect in this is that when you have all these new things and all these new features, you also think about how your team members, as Paula is doing in here, how your team members can utilize these features. How can you give advice to them? How can you train them? And they can't use lists or they can't use approvals if they even don't know it exists.
Yeah, and it should always just be something that helps their daily life. So they shouldn't just use approvals just because. It should be something that helps them and makes their day better.
Yes. So we are getting to the end of our webinar, and Paula is getting to the end of her working day. So just a couple of last things to wrap up today. This one is Viva Insights, and I showed this to you in the beginning of our presentation when we talk about booking focus time. And there are much more things you can do with Viva Insights. For example, you can tell yourself how you're feeling, you can take a break, you can see your own insights. But one thing you could utilize at the end of your day is virtual commute. Especially if you're working from home, you don't have that natural commute from office to home and transfer from work mode to home mode. So you can do this virtual commute where you can check what you have tomorrow, go through your tasks, if you have any tasks for tomorrow, and then do a short breathing exercise, reflect on your day, and you're ready to close your computer and start your free time. So super nice thing. I suggest you to tell your team about it, test this. But one last thing before we end our presentation is that praises and kudos is super important as well. And Viva Insights gives you tips about and encourages you to praise your colleagues and coworkers. And one great thing to do is that you can have a community, like well done, great job community in Viva Engage, where you can click a praise. I want to, for example, choose this nice little winning cup. And Patty has done an excellent job with our presentation today. So I want to thank Patty. Thanks for the great tips, and I will give praise to her. She will get a notification, and everyone in this Yammer community sees this praise and kudos, and it just gives the super nice feeling and creates a great team spirit all over the world. Excellent. I think we are right on time. Thank you for my part.
And thank you for my part. So we'll see if we have any questions. And if you don't come up with anything at the moment, you will find us on social media, and we are absolutely there, ready to talk and engage, because I think it's fun, and I think Karoliina thinks so too.
Yes, so please feel free to connect with us in social media. And I also put the links to lists and loop in the chat, so hopefully Laura will share them with you as well.
Yes.
But if there is no any questions, I hope you have an excellent day and weekend ahead.
Thank you, Karoliina and Amanda, for some wonderful demos and a great presentation. So I see that there is one question in here. So someone is asking, is it still not possible to lock a loop, as in protect it from further editing?
I think that for me, it's Karoliina, maybe you have a more direct answer, but I think it's really hard for me to answer that question, because I don't want to lock my material. I mean, I don't lock any of the files I share. Everything I share in any place, it's open. You can collaborate with me, but maybe so. I don't know.
I think the loop is a place for ideating together, innovating together. And then when you have your decision, like this is what we want to do, then you have to move your decision somewhere else from the loop. So for example, to your internet SharePoint or do a PowerPoint presentation. So loop is a place where you should be able to edit your ideas all the time. And when you are done, you have some other places you can put your like final decision.
That's nice. That's a good answer. But I mean, I love collaborating. I feel I don't feel anything for nothing I've written. People can just go and change it. I trust everyone. But I'm a happy, trustworthy person.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. So that's all the questions that are in there. So we'll wrap up the Q&A part. And just before we finish up, I just want to say a huge thank you to both of you again on behalf of the ESPC community for taking the time to carry out this webinar today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you
so
for
much.
having us.
No problem, it is our pleasure. So that is the end of today's webinar. You can find this webinar and more at sharepointeurope.com/resource center. That's it for today, folks. Thanks again to everyone for joining us. Take care, and we hope that you'll join us again for more learning. Bye for now.